to the house. The garden, an old-fashioned one, full of roses. Oh, time of year, July. Basket chairs and a table covered with books are set under a huge yew tree. Miss Prism is discovered seated at the table. Cecily is watering the flowers.
Cecily? Cecily? Surely such a utilitarian occupation as the watering of flowers is rather Milton's duty than yours, especially at a moment when intellectual pleasures await you. Your German grammar is on the table. Pray open it at page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't at all a becoming language. I know perfectly well I look quite plain after my German lesson.
Child, you know how anxious your guardian is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving for town yesterday. Indeed, he always lays stress on your German as he's leaving for town.
Oh, dear Uncle Jack, he's so very serious. Sometimes he's so serious I think he can't be quite well.
Your guardian enjoys the very best of health, and his gravity of demeanour is to be highly commended in one so comparatively young as he. I know no one who has a high sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that's why he often looks a little bored when we three are together.
Mr. Worthing has many troubles in his life. Idle merriment and triviality would have no place in his conversation. And you must remember his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
Oh, I wish Uncle Jack would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down here sometimes. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I'm sure you certainly would. You know German and geology, and things of that kind influence a man very much. Oh, but I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming up through the garden. Hurry!
Oh, Dr. Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we today? Miss Prism, you are, I trust, well?
Oh, Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache.
Oh.
I think it would do her so much good to have a short stroll in the park with you, Dr. Chasuble.
Cecily, I have mentioned nothing about a headache.
I hope, Cecily, you are not inattentive.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
Oh, yes. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not returned from town yet?
We do not look for him until Monday afternoon.
Ah, yes, he usually likes to spend his Sunday in London. He is not one of those whose sole aim is enjoyment, and by all accounts that unfortunate young man, his brother, seems to be. But I must not disturb Egeria and her pupil any longer.
Egeria? My name is Letitia, Doctor.
A classical allusion merely drawn from the pagan authors. I shall see you both, no doubt, at evensong.
I think I will take a walk with you. I find I have a slight headache after all, and a stroll might do it good.
Pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. We might go as far as the schools and back.
That would be delightful. Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence.
Mr. Earnest Worthing has just driven over from the station. He's brought his luggage with him.
Mr. Earnest Worthing? Did you tell him Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, miss. He was very much disappointed. I told him that you and Miss Prism were in the garden. He said he was anxious to speak with you in private for a moment.
Tell Mr. Earnest Worthing to come.
Yes, miss.
I've never met any really wicked person before. I feel rather frightened. So afraid he will look just like everyone else.
You are my little cousin Cecily, I'm sure.
You are under some strange mistake. I'm not little. In fact,
wicked, Cousin Cecily. You mustn't think that I'm wicked.
If you're not, then you've been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope you've not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being really good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Oh, of course I have been rather reckless.
Uncle Jack won't be back until Monday afternoon.
Ah, that is a great disappointment.
I think you better wait until Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to speak to you about your emigrating.
About my what?
You're emigrating. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia? I'd sooner die.
Well, he said at dinner on Wednesday night that you would have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Well, the accounts I have received of Australia and the next world are not particularly encouraging. This world is good enough for me, Cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
I'm afraid I'm not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You might make that your mission, if you don't mind, Cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
Well, would you mind my reforming myself, then?
Well, it is rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. I feel better already.
You are too much alone, dear doctor. You should get married. And you do not seem to realize that by perpetually remaining single, a man converts himself into a constant public temptation.
Oh.
But where is Cecily?
Perhaps she followed us to the schools. Oh.
Mr. Worthing.
Mr. Worthing.
This is indeed a surprise. We did not expect you until Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chasuble, I hope you are well.
Dear Mr. Worthing, I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful deaths and extravagance?
Still leading his life of pleasure?
Dead.
Your brother Ernest dead?
Quite dead.
What a lesson for him. I trust he will profit by it.
Mr. Worthing, I offer you my sincere condolence. You have at least the consolation of knowing you were always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Poor Ernest. He had many faults. But it is a sad, sad blow. Oh, that reminds me. Do you do christenings, Dr. Chasuble? I suppose you know how to christen, all right? I mean, you are continually christening, aren't you?
I regret to say it is one of the doctor's most constant duties in this parish. I have often had occasion to speak to the poorer classes on the subject, but they do not seem to know what thrift is.
I would like to be christened myself this afternoon, if you have nothing better to do.
But surely, Mr. Worthing, you have been christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
At what hour would you wish the ceremony performed?
Oh, I might trot round about 5, if that would suit you.
Perfectly, perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at that time. A case of twins, which occurred recently in one of the outlying cottages on your own estate.
Oh, I don't see much fun in being christened along with other babies. It would be childish.
Oh.
Would 5:30 do?
Admirably, admirably. And now, dear Mr. Worthing, I will not intrude any longer into a house of sorrow. I would merely beg you not to be too much bowed down by grief. What seem to us bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
This would seem to me to be a blessing of a particularly obvious kind.